Tanks were supposed to be dead, killed by drones, buried by missiles, erased by precision. That's the story everyone repeats, and it's wrong. Every few years, a new weapon arrives, cheaper, smarter, deadlier. And every time, analysts announce the same funeral. Yet tanks keep showing up, scarred, modified, heavier, still rolling into the center of the fight. They burn, they break, they adapt. Battlefields change fast. Predictions change faster.
But when territory must be taken, held, and survived, the same machine keeps being called back. Not because generals are nostalgic, not because armies are stupid, but because something fundamental refuses to die. So here's the uncomfortable question. If tanks are obsolete, why do wars still end when they arrive? Tanks were supposed to die. Everyone agreed on that. Experts, commentators, Twitter generals with high-resolution opinions. And yet, they keep deciding wars. Here's the belief.
Clean, simple, comfortable. Modern weapons killed the tank. Drones see everything. Missiles strike from miles away. Satellites erase surprise. A tank, they say, is just a slow, loud coffin. Too visible, too expensive, too 20th century. This belief feels settled, almost boring. The kind of truth nobody bothers to question anymore. That's the first mistake. On paper, the tank looks doomed. A single missile costs less than a tank's tire. A drone operator sits safe while armor burns.
Videos circulate. Explosions loop. Confidence grows. You've seen the clips. Top-down kills. Turrets tossed like bottle caps. Comment sections declaring the end of armor forever. And yes, those kills are real. The damage is real. The vulnerability is real. This is where most people stop thinking. Because war doesn't happen on paper, and it definitely doesn't happen in comment sections. Here's where the theory collapses. Killing a tank is not the same as replacing one.
A missile destroys steel. It doesn't seize ground. A drone finds targets. It doesn't occupy cities. Wars don't end when equipment dies. They end when someone controls space. Roads, bridges, intersections, ruins that still matter. And when bullets start flying both ways, something ugly happens to clean theories. Infantry wants cover that moves. Commanders want something that absorbs chaos. Armies want a weapon that keeps functioning when plans collapse. That weapon still looks like a tank.
Look at Ukraine, the most drone-saturated battlefield in human history. Missiles everywhere, eyes in the sky, always watching. Perfect conditions to kill tanks. And yet, both sides keep rebuilding armored units, keep upgrading them, keep pushing them forward. Why? Because drones don't clear trenches, missiles don't escort infantry through fire, artillery can soften but not decide. When ground must be taken, armor follows. Now look at Gaza. Urban density, precision weapons, global surveillance. Israel still rolls heavy armor into contested zones, not because it's blind to threats, but because nothing else survives long enough to dominate the street. Concrete eats infantry alive. Tanks punch back. Zoom out. Nagorno-Karabakh showed tanks dying fast, but it also showed something else. Armies without combined arms collapse faster. Armor unsupported dies. Armor integrated still shapes outcomes. That distinction gets ignored on purpose. Here it is.
Tanks don't win wars alone. They never did. They win when everything else fails, when communications break, when drones drop, when plans evaporate under fire. A tank is not a precision weapon. It's a violence stabilizer. It brings weight, momentum, psychological pressure. You hear it before you see it. You feel it before it fires. And that matters, because humans still fight wars, humans still break, and fear still decides faster than algorithms. This is the part nobody likes to admit. Language delivers control. Tanks deliver presence. The future isn't tank versus drone. That's a lazy framing. The future is adaptation versus fantasy. Tanks are changing. Active protection, electronic warfare, drone integration, networked targeting. They're becoming harder to kill. Not invincible, but persistent. And persistence decides wars more often than perfection. Here's the real shift coming. The armies that win won't abandon tanks. They'll redesign how tanks fight.
Armor as a node. Armor as a shield. Armor as the anchor everything else revolves around. Those who declare tanks dead reveal something about themselves. They want war to be clean, remote, predictable. It never is. So ask yourself this: if tanks keep surviving every revolution in warfare, what happens when the next weapon fails too? And when it does, what will still be standing on the battlefield, waiting to decide the outcome? Because the next video isn't about why tanks survive.
It's about what finally replaces them, if anything ever can.